In the pure white hell of Antarctica, survival is a battle against nature. But sometimes, the greatest threat doesn't come from the cold. It comes from within. A broken radio transmission crackles into static. An encrypted email sent in the dead of night warns of something far more chilling than frostbite. A team trapped with a madman, threats, assault, a station consumed by fear. Inside the Sanae 4 base, a lone researcher stares at the wall. Her hands shake. In the corner, a journal reads, "No way out." He's watching us. Antarctica, the coldest, driest, most remote place on Earth. 9 months of darkness. Wind speeds reaching 135 miles per hour. Temperatures that can freeze exposed flesh in minutes. Even the air feels alien. Dry, heavy, silent. Scientists from around the world come here, chasing knowledge. They brave the void to study climate change, astronomy, biology. But the cost is high. Months of confinement, no daylight, no way out. Here, isolation is not a side effect. It is the environment. And even the strongest minds begin to fracture. Antarctica's pristine beauty hides a darker legacy. In 1996, a brutal hammer attack at McMurdo Station left one man bleeding in the snow. A cook assaulting a colleague in a rage so violent, it required FBI intervention. On South Africa's Marion Island, heartbreak turned to horror when a scientist smashed a co-worker's door with an axe. In 1959, at Vostok Station, a game of chess turned deadly. One man killed the other, allegedly over a lost match. Russian bases banned chess for years afterward. In 1984, a Chilean doctor set fire to his own station just to escape the suffocating winter. The pattern is clear. When the world is stripped away, the mind can unravel, and sometimes it breaks. In February 2025, a team arrived at the South African Sanae 4 base, full of hope. Each member carried with them expertise and expectations. They were here to make history, to endure the winter, and to contribute to humanity's understanding of the planet. But the ice reveals more than data. One member, known only as X, a respected team leader, was the first to raise alarm. Another, still unnamed for safety, became the target of a violent outburst. The accused? A fellow researcher whose odd behaviors had long been dismissed. Until one day, they couldn't be ignored anymore. What begins as friction often hides something far more volatile. On a day like any other, the tension snapped. An argument over a delayed drone launch turned physical. The victim cried out, a punch thrown. No one knew what would happen next. Would he stop? When the assault ended, the damage was done, not just physically, but psychologically. The atmosphere curdled. No one could sleep. No one felt safe. Apologies were made. The perpetrator agreed to counseling. But in a place with no escape, words are cold comfort. Camera lingers on a note pinned to a bunk wall. We are not okay. Beyond frostbite and fire hazards lies a subtler, crueler enemy. The psychological toll of Antarctic life. No color, no sound, just cold, wrote one explorer. Days blur. People become ghosts of themselves. Little things become big things. Noise at night. A missing mug. The way someone chews. These irritations morph into threats in the crucible of isolation. Before deployment, crews are screened, tested, trained for months. But nothing prepares them for the long dark. The months when sunlight never returns. Some meditate, some journal, some break. Even with video therapy and support from the mainland, the station becomes its own world and its own prison. When violence erupts in Antarctica, there is no swift response, only silence. and long-distance mediation. In the case of Sanae 4, South African officials coordinated with team psychologists. Remote evaluations began. The accused showed remorse. Steps were taken to calm the group, but no one could leave. The next flight, 9 months away. There is no relocation in Antarctica, only patience and pressure. Survivors speak of the silence after the incident being worse than the incident itself. These are not isolated tragedies. Records, official and whispered, tell of a continent haunted by madness, violence, and bureaucratic silence. Reports are often buried, rewritten, or redacted. Charges vanish. Victims go home quietly. Sometimes they never speak again. Stations want funding. Countries want good press. And so the cycle continues. Another winter, another silence. The ice covers everything, including the truth. Antarctica remains the edge of human civilization, a place of wonder, a place of danger. But as we send more people into the cold, we must ask, how do we protect them? How do we ensure their minds, not just their bodies, survive? Rodney Marks died in silence. No answers, only questions. Will the Sanae 4 team emerge whole or haunted? In a land with no laws, no sun, and no escape, the real horror isn't the snow. It's what happens when the ice seeps into the soul. As we chase the stars and measure the skies, we must not forget. Even in the coldest places, the darkness within still burns.